One of the most important things that you can do to be successful as a business is focus on your marketing. If you're not focusing on your marketing, you're not going to be successful because people won't know who you are, they won't know how to access you, and they don't know why they should pay you anything. So marketing is a really vital aspect, but figuring out where to market can be a real challenge. There are so many marketing channels out there: SEO, email, pay-per-click, social media marketing. It's really hard to know where to focus your efforts to be most successful. So today I'm going to solve that problem for you. I'm going to walk you through some of those really big marketing channels: email, PPC, social media marketing, and SEO, so that you can get a closer look at what these marketing channels can do for you. And then I'm going to help you figure out where your customers currently are so that you can figure out which of these marketing channels you need to prioritize. My name's Trent Kennelly. I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel I talk about everything that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you give this video a like, subscribe if you're into it, comment, and let me know which of these marketing channels you think is going to be the most successful based on everything you've seen so far. And then stick around until the end, because I want to show you first how you can consult with me for completely free. And then second, I want to provide you a little quiz that'll help you figure out which of these marketing channels you should be going after right now. All right, that sounds good. Let's get started. Okay, so let's focus really broadly to start. There are 4 broad channels of digital marketing: social media, PPC, email, and SEO. Now, obviously, it goes a lot deeper than that. This is a very, very broad generalization, but just to understand that these are the 4 main things that you focus on in digital marketing spaces. You could talk about things like affiliate marketing, but affiliate marketing is when you get other people to sell your product for you and you pay them a commission. So it's not really you making that active effort so much as it is you getting other people to do the work for you, okay? So we'll do guides on things like that in the future, but for now, we're gonna focus on social media, PPC, email, and SEO. All right, let's jump in. So the first channel I want to cover is social media. Social media is really, really good because it's effectively free advertising. Everybody is on at least one social media platform, and if you can find your audience on the right social platform at the right time with the right message, you'll be able to have a lot of free organic advertising that you don't have to pay for at all. Now, of course, these platforms all have pay-per-click services. That's how they make their money. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later. The big names here that you want to focus on are typically Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you want a little bit more information about the breakdown for those, the types of activity that happen on each of those platforms, analytics, etc., you can check out this video I did all about that to help you figure out which one is your best social platform. I'm not going to go too much into that right now, but what I do want to say is that one thing I said in that video is that you should pick 2 to 3 social platforms, and I want to really reiterate that here, because you can try to be on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, everything that's out there. You will bury yourself, especially if you're a solopreneur like I am. There's not enough time in the day for you to put all of that necessary work in to get the best results out of it, because every platform is a little bit different. So you need to understand how these platforms work so that you can make sure that you're tailoring your message to each platform. It's not just about taking your Instagram carousel and putting it up on LinkedIn. Ask me how I know that that doesn't work, okay? So let's talk about the type of selling that you do on social media. It is almost always soft selling. So what is soft selling? Soft selling is using subtle sales tactics. It's like showing your product but not actually asking anybody to purchase it. It might be building up a personal brand, generally like the way Gary Vaynerchuk does it. It's a way of not necessarily saying, please buy from me, but it is a way of showing yourself or your product off without making that ask, so that people are naturally interested in going over and looking at your product and making the purchase. The next channel is pay-per-click, also known as PPC or CPC. That would be cost per click. It's the same thing. And all of the big platforms allow you to pay for ads on their platform. So they're providing the users, you're paying them to build out ads on their platform so that the users come to you. This is a really big way of making money for these guys. It's the primary way that they make money. maybe they're selling your data or something as well. That's always a possibility, but advertising is a big, big moneymaker online. Now, the ad cost can vary depending on a lot of different factors. All these platforms are different. LinkedIn, for instance, is the most expensive with, in my opinion, the worst targeting options, while Google has very good targeting options and is the cheapest. So it just comes down to understanding what you can pay, where your audience is, and how effectively you can target that audience on the platform that you're trying to target them on. It can be very difficult to figure this out, but as long as you understand your audience, check out this video I just did on ideal customer avatars to get a real clear idea of this. But once you understand that, it makes it a lot easier and you can be very, very effective. Now, as to the type of selling that you're doing on pay-per-click or PPC ads, this is all hard selling. Whether you're specifically asking for someone to buy something, or you're asking them to download a free ebook, or you're asking them to subscribe to your YouTube channel, it's the same thing. You're making a direct asks to somebody. And that's all hard selling is. It doesn't mean that you're beating someone over the head or you're making them feel bad or you're some scummy feeling salesperson. No, you're just directly making an ask for a purchase. So you're talking to that audience as if you want them to come and make a purchase, and they can see that, right? So that's the difference here between soft, which is more indirect, more, hey, if you're interested in it, and hard is more direct, and PPC is always hard and direct. So the next channel is email. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care what your business is, I don't care what your niche is, you have to have email. Email is the backbone of marketing, it's the backbone of the internet. It is everything, okay? It identifies people on your website and on every other website. It allows you to analyze activity. You can use it to target people on other platforms. You can, for instance, take your email list. Let's say you have 100 people. You slap it up on Facebook, and Facebook can say, all right, I see your 100. I'm gonna give you 1,000 that are like that. How amazing is that? And then you can market directly to those people on Facebook that have never even heard of you before, but that you can say with some certainty will be interested in you based on the interest of your current customers and your current audience. That is mind-blowing, but you have to have an email list. So as far as actually sending emails, there's a lot of nuance to this that you need to be really careful with. Spam, open rates, click-through rates, bounce rates, all that sort of stuff is really important. If you want more information on that, you can check out this video I just did recently on getting out of that spam folder and getting back into the inbox. But just understand for now, there's a lot of nuance to it that you need to be really careful about. Now, as to the type of selling that you're doing when you're coming to email, it's kind of a mix of hard and soft. What I typically say to people is that you should start with softer emails where it's just mostly content focused to get people used to opening your emails and not necessarily feeling like they need to click through, but just feeling like they're getting a lot of information and content from the emails themselves, so that when you actually do start selling in maybe the third or the fourth email in a sequence, people are more used to opening your emails and they're more likely to click through. So if you have like this gradual approach where you're going content, content, content with a little bit of hard selling, then harder selling, and then harder selling, you're more likely to get people opening and clicking through. So that's what I typically suggest, but just be aware that this is a mix of both of those ideas, and you need to be very careful with how you execute. So the last channel I want to talk about is search engine optimization, or SEO. There's a lot of nuance to SEO, so I'm not going to go into the details. I'm going to give you an overview here, but if you want more detail, you can check out these videos here. I'm always talking about SEO, so I'm sure that you'll get a lot out of that. In any case, there are three main facets to SEO. There's technical optimization, which is just talking about the speed of your site. So go to gtmetrics.com, put in your site domain, and then just get a feel for how fast your site is loading. If it's not loading fast enough, you probably need to figure out what's not working, and it'll give you the detail right there. So check that out. The second is document relevancy, which is just the question of keyword finding. So you're finding your keywords, you're putting them into your landing page so that you're getting ranked on search as high as possible. And then finally is domain authority, or backlinking. So what you're trying to do here is getting sites that are already trusted by Google to send links into your site, okay? So you can already see a little bit that this is a pretty involved process, but I just want to drive the point home that it is very involved. If you've never done SEO before, you're looking at a good amount of time to really get up to speed. I would say a minimum of 10 hours, but probably more than that. And then finding the keywords is a 5 to 10 hour process itself, finding them and putting them on the landing page. And then finally, the backlinking process, I'm talking about 10 hours a week to really get a lot of good backlinks here. So even though a lot of people like Brian Dean are gonna say you absolutely have to do SEO, I'm gonna back up and say, consider your situation because it's not always necessary. So let's say, for instance, that you have a big email list. Do you need SEO? I don't know. If you have a big social following, do you really need SEO, or are you getting a lot of good organic traffic? I'm not so sure. So really consider very closely whether this is worth the time. You can hire it out later if you need to. Just go to Upwork or something and hire somebody off there. But I would say for now, it's probably a nice to have if you have some other traffic source that you can pull from, not a need to have. All right, so finally, let's talk about the type of selling here. The type of selling on SEO is very situationally dependent. If you are sending people to a direct sales landing page, then it needs to be more direct selling. If you're sending people to a blog or video or something, then it's more soft selling to bring people into your funnel. Okay, so now we understand broadly what each of these channels is. Now we have to figure out where to be. So there are three main questions that this comes down to: data, time, and customers. First, when it comes to data, what is your data saying about your sources now? If you want to figure this out in Google Analytics, go to acquisition, all traffic channels, and that's going to break down broadly, and then you can dig down deeper what your channels are. So for instance, if it says social, you need to click on social to see which social channel is most effective for you. If it says organic, SEO is probably the most effective thing for you now, so you need to figure out which keywords are working best. This is really going to help you to dig down deep into which channel, based on the data, is most successful. The next question is, who are your customers? So to figure this out, you need to basically develop an ideal customer avatar, which I covered here. You can check that out if you want to get a lot of detail on how to figure out who your customer is. But just to give you a very broad overview of that, you're going to the Audiences tab and you're digging down into who specifically your audience is on that Audiences tab, and a couple other sources to really start to figure this out. So you need to figure out who your customer is, because then the next question is, where do they live online? Meaning, are they most of the time spending their time on Facebook? Do they like to spend their time on Instagram or TikTok or whatever? If you can understand that, then you can understand how to access them more effectively. The third question is time. So unless you have a team of even 1 or 2 people, it's just impossible to be everywhere. So you need to prioritize as much as possible. So for instance, if you know that content on social media is really tough for you and your customers aren't really there anyway, then you need to refocus to another area. Maybe SEO makes more sense for you. Maybe it makes more sense to do paid ads instead of just trying to build organic content. It really depends on where you are now. What's tough for you? What's really easy for you? What are you more effective at? What are you getting the most responses from? Once you can understand that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to refocus and get the most out of the 1 area or 2 areas that you really, really want to use. Because if you're trying to focus on everything, you're going to spread yourself so thin that nothing will be effective. This is like a jack of all trades question. Are you good at 1 or 2 things, or are you bad at everything? Okay, so make sure that you put all 3 of these factors together: the customers, the time, and the data, to really get a clear idea of what you need to be doing, where you need to be advertising. So there you go. I hope that that was helpful for you and you got a lot out of that. If you're still not quite sure where to advertise, just head down to the link in my description. I have a little quiz on my page where you can kind of work through some of these questions that you have, and it'll give you kind of some results and some suggestions at the end that you can take and figure out where to advertise from there. I think it's really going to help you. And I also want to tell you really quickly about my free 1-hour consultation. I'm doing this every single week to help a business that's really in need. It's important to me personally that I help a business that needs the help, that cannot afford a marketing consultant right now. So if that's you, here's how you can tell me you like this video. Comment and let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel, and then go to my website, and I have a little sign up application form there. All you have to do is put in your email and then give me a description about why it is that you need the help. Just 2 or 3 lines of why you need the help. I would love to hear from you. I really, really want to help people out here. I think this is the best way for me to give back. So if that sounds good to you, in any case, one way or another, I would love for you to like my video, comment, and let me know where you think you're going to end up advertising, and subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I'll catch you in the next one.